Hello, hi, and welcome or welcome back to the Strategic Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Blue, and I'm a business astrologer here to help you use astrology so that you can start, grow, and scale your online business. And today's episode is a personal case study. I want to take you behind the scenes of how and why I built my business around my Taurus Midheaven. We're going to get into my personal story and exactly what my journey has looked like in really centering my Taurus midheaven in my business so that you can get a firsthand look on exactly what it looks like to center your midheaven in your business strategy. I really hope that you have a notepad for today's episode because there's going to be some gems dropped and I can't wait to share it with you. So, as a business astrologer that focuses on traditional astrology, the midheaven is my jam. I absolutely love talking about this placement and the love for it just continues to grow. But I wanted to do this episode to give you a not just behind the scenes look of what this has looked like for my personal business, but also to show you what's actually possible when you take the time to bring your midheaven into your business strategy. And before we get into this episode, if you're interested in learning how to bring your midheaven into your business strategy, then this is exactly what we do inside of my business astrology intensive. So if you're interested in working together to bring your midheaven into your business foundations, then I want to invite you to join me and book your intensive. So let's get into it, really breaking down the midheaven and why it's at the center of my business strategy. I have plenty of episodes where I have broken down exactly what the midheaven is and why it's so cool. But to give a really brief synopsis here, your midheaven is your legacy energy in your birth chart. And it is the placement where we're talking about business astrology that is going to be the most relevant in really creating a business that is the most aligned for you. Outside of any other placement, your midheaven is really the place to begin. So when I first started getting into business astrology in general, this was the placement that really helped me to fall in love with this branch of astrology and really helped me to really see myself solidly as a business astrologer. So I personally have a 10th house Taurus midheaven, and one of the things that I really love about this placement is that it's actually in an empty house. I don't have any planets that are in the 10th house at all. And so I have a really clear channel of being able to work with this energy as well as it being very flexible and adaptable to what I need. So when I started my journey out as a business astrologer, this was actually the perfect place for me to begin getting acquainted with and building a relationship with my Taurus midheaven, because I was at a point where I was at a crossroads. At this point in time, I knew that I wanted to have an online business, but I had just moved back home. I had to let my previous coaching business burn to the ground, and I was feeling really lost, really stuck, really unmotivated. So when I got to that point, literally at a ground zero state, I was like, what do I have access to? And in my many, many personal notes, I had the notes of my birth chart from the previous readings I've done, the actual reading in textbooks that I've done, and my own self-studying. And so I really zeroed in on relearning my chart, and I couldn't get the midheaven out of my head because, like I mentioned before, it is your legacy energy. It is the center of your business astrology. So when I made that connection, it really helped me to build that sense of direction. It became my North Star and really helps me to align myself to envision what is actually possible again. If I were to rebuild my business from the ground up and to start something new, like what would that actually look like? My midheaven became the guiding force to allowing me to see what is possible. And that's what the midheaven is. Whether you personally have a Taurus midheaven or not, it is that point of visibility that allows you to see what's possible for your business and the energy behind it. So it's not going to say exactly like you should have a coaching business or a consulting business or be an influencer, but it's going to be the essence, the energy behind the work that you do and allow you to make the connection of where your vocation meets your career, which is the most important thing when you have an online business. So, how did I begin to tangibly build my business around my midheaven? The first thing is really getting to understand the energy of my Taurus midheaven. So, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So, it really does best when it's able to move in ways that are very grounded, very tangible. If we think of earth, right, it's a very solid thing. It's also very fertile, especially when we're talking about Taurus, which represents fertility in astrology. Really getting into like Queen of Pentacles energy, gardening is a big one. Like the essence of what is very solid and true and steady and reliable within business. So to me, that really pointed to how can I connect back to the different work that I have done? How can I get back to the essence of what it is that lights me up, that I'm excited about, which I'll talk about in a bit as well. So I took that to first look at, okay, what have I done throughout my career in the many different roles that I've had, especially the previous businesses that I've had, the different models? What exactly did I do? What excited me about that work? And how can I continue to build on those skills? That's very tangible because the threads that connected all of my previous businesses, they all centered around providing services, being a service provider of some kind. So I have 10 years of experience in doing client facing work and working in a digital capacity in different ways. I also had tangible firsthand experience of what the challenges were being in these roles, being a solopreneur, being an online business owner, being working in niches and fields that are underrepresented, are appreciated, and also are in dire need of new energy being brought to them. So realizing that all of these threads existed really helps me to see I can begin to tangibly carve out my niche from my experience, which is also a very Taurus midheaven thing to do, really looking at the tangibility of what you have done and what you can continue to evolve to. The other aspect to having a Taurus midheaven is that it's ruled by Venus, and Venus is a planet of attraction, of the things that we are attracted to and what we find attractive. So it's really important that not only am I doing work that is solid and tangible and provides a specific outcome to my clients, but it's also something that I deeply enjoy. So for that, I had to look to my midheaven ruler, which for my chart is my ninth house, Aries Venus. So really pointing to what am I truly passionate about, because Aries is a fire sign, it's a Mars ruled sign. So it's something that is very strategic, individualistic. Mars is a solitary planet, so it is drawn by its own desires. So really looking to what do I actually enjoy and how can I create my business to be a support to allow me to do those things. And not just looking at my skill set, but also like what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy podcasting, I enjoy blogging, I enjoy talking with people and moving them through solutions for their business. I like being the one that helps people to see the possibilities of what they can do. I love being the one that pulls back the curtain and cheers people on to how amazing they are and how needed and necessary their work is. I don't necessarily love being in the weeds. I don't necessarily love being super detail oriented or doing the service for people. I like working alongside with them. I like being in a strategic role. That's what led to me centering my business foundation around these things. Once I had that information just from my midheaven, I was able to really hone in on consulting, specifically strategy consulting, and bringing astrology into it. Really seeing astrology as the mode that I use in support of my strategy consulting. Now that I knew how to gather all of this information from my chart, it was then up to me to create the space to take action on it, to start this podcast, to begin blogging on my website via blogs and write to my email list, and to put in the work to gather data. I am a big fan of making data-driven decisions. So creating space for me to try things and to commit to it for a long enough period of time where I could actually figure out what works and what doesn't via what is actually bringing tangible results to my business. And of course, creating offers. So by using my midheaven, I was able to build my business foundations and then create runway enough of a runway for me to actually test and see, does this work for my business? And lo and behold, it actually does. As well as create platforms for me to share this information out to the people that I wanted to work with, which are online service providers. This allowed me to create a business that actually truly supported how I wanted my business to function and also support the life that I have, because Taurus midheaven energy needs to involve spaciousness. It needs to have a lot of space to make decisions, to let things run in an easeful sort of way, to not be high pressured, and to really focus in on personal pleasure and autonomy. So really taking my time and honing in on my Taurus midheaven allowed me to do this, to create the business model, the offers, the marketing, and the sales strategy that best supported this energy. From there, it was just a matter of looking back and continuing to make data-driven decisions to pivot and tweak the business to what it is now. Really how just from using my midheaven, I was able to build my business and to create the business that I have today that is best supportive to what it is that I do best. This is completely possible for you, regardless of what midheaven or other placements that you have in your birth chart are. It really starts with zeroing in on what your particular placements are, and then using a strategic business lens in order to bridge that gap to make it something that can be tangibly used within your business in order to grow and scale. So if you've been feeling really stuck around your business model and you're not sure exactly how to create a business that is in alignment with your astrology, and in particular with your midheaven placement, then let's work together to map out a custom strategy based completely around your chart. And we do this inside of my one-on-one private astrologer. This is my one-on-one private consulting program for online business owners, where we work together to create a tangible roadmap so that you're able to build your business foundations, create a pivot plan, and ultimately create a customized roadmap for you to achieve your business goals. And we do this all by simplifying your business within 90 days. You can book your sales call for a private astrologer by using the link in the show notes. I can't wait to see you on the sales call, and I'll also see you in the next episode. Bye.